From Wish TV and the All Indiana Podcast Network, this is the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast with Scott Sander.
Welcome to the Business, Equity, and Opportunities Podcast. I'm Scott Sander. On this episode, we are getting started with some historic news about the partnership between INNO Power Minority Business Week and the Rally Innovation Conference. How a local credit union is helping members build up their credit ratings. Our conversation with the creator of a new educational show for kids continues.
Every business is unique and has a target audience. If you own or manage a business, Circulus Digital Media can help you connect and grow your customer base with turnkey digital solutions that are nimble, offering best-in-class results, service, and support to reach a bigger customer base, allowing you to pinpoint a specific audience down to the smallest details. Get outside the city, the state, span the globe. Put Circulus Digital Media to work for you. Get started now at circulusdigital.com. That's circulusdigital.com.
Today we are getting started with some historic news about the partnership between INNO Power Minority Business Week and the Rally Innovation Conference. It's a connection that brings big opportunities for minority-owned businesses. INNO Power founder Emil Ekior shares the details on what's billed as the largest global cross-sector innovation conference, and it's happening here in our community.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Getting started.
This is our 6th year. We're so excited about year 6. For the last 5 years, we've done the Minority Business Week, really growing our networks of business owners, corporations, Hoosiers, students, just coming together to think about how do we accelerate economic productivity in the Hoosier State, especially right here in Central Indiana. This year, we've partnered with Elevate Ventures and the Rally Conference with a real focus on the innovation economy. Indiana is making so many investments today in innovation, and we see it all the time. Elevate Ventures just launched a $100 million plus growth fund with the state of Indiana. Eli Lilly is building a wonderful facility in Lebanon. Corteva is building a facility in Anderson. So much is happening. IU Health is building a tech corridor downtown Indianapolis. So there's so much investment in the innovation economy. How do we make sure that 10 years from now when we look back, that a lot of Hoosiers have been included in all of this? So by partnering with Elevate Ventures and Rally and bringing the Minority Business Week into that environment, we're ensuring that minority business owners and professionals are right there in the forefront of these conversations. They're getting a chance to grow their social capital. They're getting a chance to give input in how it could be more inclusive. They're getting a chance to hear about what's happening, right? So creating access to do that. But the other thing about what we love is just the spirit of collaboration. The fact that we were able to sit down with Elevate Ventures and have this conversation about collaborating. The fact that we all share the same insight on the only way we win as a state is when everyone is performing. We can't afford to leave anyone on the bench. So when you have so many leaders that have that same understanding, and when we have the same spirit of collaboration and we want to see great things happen. So it's been a joy to kind of see that happen, and we're actually about 85 days away from the conference itself. One of the things that we want to be careful not to do is create an environment where everyone looks alike and thinks alike. And we want to be careful, like after year 5 and as we grow, that was not the environment we created. We wanted the people who attended our conference to really grow professionally, to leave saying, you know what, I met this person. Or I learned this much that I would have never known. So last year we had Magic Johnson in town, and it pains me that so many minority entrepreneurs didn't get a chance to hear him speak and see just the energy around the convention center during Rally last year. So we wanted to make sure this year in this relationship we created access, that when you come to the conference, yeah, you hear about things we need to do in the minority community and what we need to do to accelerate productivity, but you also meet people. There are 175 venture capitalist firms that are going to be in the convention center. So many tech companies and big corporations from all over the world. So to have our minority entrepreneurs engaging, and also professionals who are maybe looking to grow professionally. So we're just really, really elated that this is happening for us in year 6. We've totally scaled our conference with this partnership, and we've also created an environment that doesn't exist in too many states.
Contributors often remind us that in order to access capital for your business, it's important that you maintain good personal financial health. Clarice Rogers is the branch manager for Financial Health Federal Credit Union. She's in the business of helping members improve and keep good credit scores. When we meet her, you may just find out how personal that mission is.
This is Business, Equity, and Opportunities. Access to Capital.
My name is Clarice Rogers. I work here at Financial Health Federal Credit Union, and I've been here 15 years almost. Credit union is quite different from regular banks because they're member-owned. We have better services. We have better member relationships with our members versus a regular bank. We make them feel like family. We're at 777 Indiana Avenue, and we've been here since 2016. We moved in this location because what the Indianapolis Urban League does helps a lot of our members as well, and they're more in tune to who we serve. When the credit union first was developed, it was for only IU Health employees only, and then their immediate family members could join. We bought a failing credit union approximately 10 years ago, and it was a credit union. They were getting ready to close their doors. So we purchased that credit union, and in order to have others be able to join the credit union, we had to open it up to different zip codes because it fell out of the zip code that IU Health was in. So we've developed other zip codes for people to be able to join our credit union. The name has changed several times. It was first Methodist Credit Union because two doctors decided they wanted their employees to have a credit union, and they started out in the basement of Methodist Hospital. Then as they changed their name, we coincided with that to keep that same name, to keep the attachment. So when they went to IU Health, IU has a credit union, so we didn't want to intermingle that too much for people to be confused. So we took the financial part and added it to the health to make our name Financial Health. The Credit Builder Loans was first developed 50 years ago when the credit union first started. And what's significant about that is we help members build their credit so they can get better interest rates and better services with better credit scores. We first started out calling them summer loans and winter loans because we looked at people that live paycheck to paycheck deserve to have a vacation in the summertime as well. And then at Christmas time, we called them our Christmas loans because it was designated at the same people that live paycheck to paycheck to be able to provide for their families for Christmas. Other than the credit builder loans, we do credit checkups for them to let them know where their credit is. We also do personal loans, auto loans, and we help people that other people normally wouldn't help with lower credit scores. We try to keep people from, for instance, buying autos that buy here, pay here's. Those interest rates usually run anywhere from 20 to 25%. And the highest rate that a credit union can offer a member is 18%. So we don't go any higher. We cannot exceed 18% interest rate. Since I've been with the credit union, I've gone to the Goodwill. I've gone and did classes telling them about the credit union, how we can help them. The Indianapolis Urban League, I also do classes for them once a month and let them know of what we have to offer. And I must do a pretty good job because 90% of the class is coming back across the hall with me to join. What gets me excited, and I'll give you a prime example. I did a personal loan for a member this morning. She only needed $250, but our minimum that we will do on a loan is $300. And when I called her and told her she was approved for the loan, in the background, I could hear her say, "Thank you, Jesus." So that resonated with me, and it stayed in my mind. And I know she is on a fixed income. So I thought she only asked for $250, but I bet she could use a little bit more. So preparing her loan documents for her to come in to sign and to get her money, I did 2 sets of documents. I did the one she asked for, which is $300 because that's our minimum, and I made her aware of that. And then I made documents for a $500 one. So I said, I know this lady could use more money, just the way she was so grateful in the conversation when I called her to tell her she was approved. So I've never met this member because she's gone to other branches, and she came in to do the loan. And when she came in and sat down, I said, something just made me feel like you could use more than that $300. I said, so I'm going to do your loan for $500. I said, I'm going to stretch it out over 6 months versus the 3 months that I would have done for the $300. And it made her payment even lower. And I knew it fit in her budget. And she cried. And she was so happy. And in the conversation, she was telling me about her having a home and needing work done on the home. She said, I could make my mortgage payment every month, but my house is falling apart. And so I told her I would check into some places to see where she could probably get help fixing up her home. But I told my teller, Kenzie, I said, that's what warms my heart and makes me happy to come to work every day.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities. Sunny Lou Williams is the creator and co-producer behind K-Bon Kids. We talked with her last month about how the new program, filmed in Indianapolis, came about. Today, she introduces us to Auntie Kiki and shares the backstory about how the character developed.
This is Business Equity and Opportunities, running your business day to day.
I have a phenomenal mentor in Albert Chen, and he was my direct supervisor, mentor, coach, all the names, right, in business leadership. And he imparted and impacted me with a very key phrase in human leadership. He said, it is not the job of our employees to find their own fit. It's our job to find their fit within our organization. So the talent, Auntie Kiki, in the production, Kai-Ban, she is played by Kira Lachelle, who is a phenomenal singer, songwriter, and, happenstance, our actual nanny. So Auntie Kiki, after the pandemic, and I tell you, I don't even know how to describe the stress and the struggle of launching a new market in Indiana, setting up a new office in Indianapolis in 2018, finding out that I was pregnant in 2019, and then the pandemic hitting in 2020 with no consistent childcare, right? I can't even explain to, but our moms and parents that are watching, right? So Auntie Kiki was our 16th babysitter / nanny during this time frame. And she brought so much love and stability, and she is a consummate child carer, but also so well trained in early childhood education. And the level of empathy and social emotional learning that she just very naturally imparted upon Augie really provided some early on interventions that applied behavioral analysis therapy will be providing him in the future, but he had such a good foundation. And so Auntie Kiki, Kira, invited me a couple months into our initial working relationship to a show of hers. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And it was a show at a church on the east side where she sang covers and her own songs, and I was blown away, thinking to myself, this lady, I'm so thankful that her passion is early childhood and singing and songwriting, because she is equal parts amazing in both. And TechServe does quite a few conferences, events, and so forth, but we don't really do entertainment. So where appropriate, we had given her some opportunities to plug in. So she had an opportunity to sing on the health fair stage at the Indiana Black Expo, and people were just floored, right? So this was a talent that, when I looked at it, I remembered Albert's comment to me. And in a traditional sense, by the time a child is 4, typically you're a nanny, babysitter, etc. You're transitioning into childcare, you're transitioning into pre-K, whatever the case might be. So typically they're not with you full time anymore. So I really had some heartburn about that, because she is a second mom to Augie and helped me through some of the most difficult times so that I could work and continue to grow our multiple lines of business. And it wasn't appropriate to thank her by saying, oh, well, Augie's now this age, so see ya. So I asked her, I said, what do you think about acting? How do you feel about learning Chinese? And she was all for it. So Auntie Kiki, as much as I am learning about the industry of literally cartoon animation and broader, because this will of course have multiple derivative product lines, as I'm learning through that, Auntie Kiki's also learning acting, and she's learning the language of Chinese, and most importantly, she is the representation that anyone can access the Chinese language, that you don't have to be Chinese, that language itself outside of the Chinese language is something that should be fostered and supported in every child. And unfortunately, our education system reserves that only for those that can pay for it. And when I look at cartoons that are funded by Department of Education that are teaching other languages, we fall really short. So our goals are ultimately to get grant funding to support the continuation development of Kaiban for Chinese language learning and other opportunities for other languages down the line. This is my passion project because I'm a Chinese speaker that wants to ensure that my heritage and language continues within my child. But I'm also an individual that loves the place and spaces that we occupy and the ability to give equitable access to learning in general for all children. And so in this environment, it really requires private interest to ensure that that access is made available. And so our digital platforms in the form of, we launched it on YouTube, right? So for full access and just no cost. But we want to account for this on TV. We want to partner with the public broadcasting stations that have preferred and pipeline funding to the federal government to explore, establish, engage, and also produce new shows that really showcase the culture of Indianapolis, the Hoosier State, and the values that we hold to ensure that our youth, our children, our very young infants and toddlers have the visibility of representation, exposure, and exploration from a very young age.
Our thanks again to all the contributors who joined us for this episode of the Business Equity and Opportunities podcast. We hope you found it enlightening, useful, and inspiring. You'll find more information about the show on our website, BEOshow.com. You can watch Business Equity and Opportunities Sunday mornings at 10 on Wish TV or live stream it through wishtv.com. Each week we provide 7 full segments with topics ranging from how to get started and how to access capital to the day-to-day running of your business and questions about accounting and bookkeeping. We feature business news and trends and always share a success story from one of our contributors. Join us next time for more insights into the world of small business. Be sure to sign up for our Business Equity and Opportunities newsletter to get even more valuable, up-to-date information. And if you have any questions or you'd like to be part of our show, please email us. The address is beo@wishtv.com. We'd love to hear from you. I'm Scott Sander. Thanks for listening.
Watch the Business Equity and Opportunities show on Wish TV and access all of our content and share it on demand anytime at beoshow.com. You can find more podcasts from Wish TV on the All Indiana Podcast Network at allindianapodcastnetwork.com.